Welcome. I'm sitting here with Nathan, who has a life that most people dream about or most people pretend that they have. He is actually getting paid to travel the world, fly first class, do collaborations with cool brands, and he's not just getting free stuff, but he actually gets paid to do all of this stuff. So he lives the dream life, he makes the dream money, and he's pretty much outflexing every guru on the internet. So thanks for being on this podcast, and let's get started.
Perfect, my pleasure. So, hey, what's up, everyone? Thank you for inviting me on this podcast, and yeah, let's get started.
So that's my first question for today. How does it feel to live your life?
To be honest, it feels amazing because back in the days, I hadn't the same life as I have right now, and I was struggling obviously with my finance stuff. I was struggling in my daily life as well. Didn't really know what to do, but now actually living the life, getting paid for it while living really the life and traveling is just amazing. Like the sense of freedom you get is just amazing. It's crazy.
Yeah, because I think a little bit of context is that some people, they get free flight tickets, right? Or they get free hotels, or they get free clothes from brands, but you actually get paid to wear these things, to go travel somewhere. So it's not just like, oh, you're getting free stuff and you're living in your mom's basement, you know, trying to scrape by, but it's like, hey, you're getting paid to do all these things that most people don't get paid for. So I think that's an interesting question to start with. Like what makes some people just get the free stuff and what makes some people get paid for it actually?
True. I think it's a journey, obviously, that you need to walk, because in the beginning, indeed, I was getting stuff for free and I wasn't getting paid for the same stuff. But obviously, when the journey comes along and you work harder, smarter, you know, okay, this is what brands like, then they will eventually pay for you. And the moment you grow, you have more leverage actually in monetizing your social media. So obviously, you begin as, okay, I get stuff for free, you get better at it, you have leverage, and you monetize actually your followers and your personal brand as well.
Yeah, so I would like to give them a little bit more details and go into the grains. Maybe this is not the case and it happened organically, but was there certain stuff that you were doing when first you got your, free, let's say you got a gift, right?
Yeah.
Like you posted it, your reach is amazing, right? So you're like, hey, listen, I posted this reel, I posted this story. And when you're sending them like a screenshot and like showing them how many views you got, so they were like, oh, damn, like this is really valuable. And then it became easier to, I guess you're not like charging them, but they came with like offers.
Yeah.
So how did you transition from like, what I said, like were there small little things you did or did it just happen organically?
Both ways. So obviously some things happen organically, like brands reaching out to me because I was going viral on social media. So you get like a lot of attention, and obviously where attention is, money flows. So brands were offering me certain type of money. I was like, wow, actually it's amazing. I'm getting paid for creating content. Yeah. And I was like, okay, if this brands want to pay me X amount of money, means I have the leverage to actually ask another brand for the same amount of money or even more for the same content. And that's how actually I transitioned into getting free stuff, into getting paid actually for promoting their stuff. So yeah.
Got it. So what you were doing was like, hey, some brand paid you and then you were using that like, hey, listen, I did this for this brand. Yeah. Did you also share some results, or is like, do they get back to you with like, oh man, yeah, when you promoted our product, we got this many profile visits and you're doing better than everybody else? Or is there like a feedback loop there, or is it just like a black box?
Most of the time it's just a black box, but brands do sometimes share the feedback and sometimes share the link clicks and whatever, but you can see it yourself as well in your platform and social media, how many link clicks you got and how many views you have. But brands do sometimes come back to me like, hey, we've made X amount of sales, or we're making more sales because of you. And yeah, sometimes it's like that, but most of the times, 80% of the times, they don't show you what happened behind the scenes. And I think it's not always about performance or return on investment with brand deals. It's also about because they can use your image. You make your following more familiar with the brand. They can repurpose your content as well for X amount of time. So it's much more than just driving sales. It's much more because you creating your own brand a better image by working with creators. So yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think a lot of people that have been watching and listening to my podcast, which is a small group for now, but which is going to change today, of course. They are always really focused on like, hey, what's actually happening, what can happen, what are the results. But if you're working with these corporate brands, I guess they don't really want to share the juice and the secrets. So how do you know then that they were happy with like the content piece that you did? Because it's good to have feedback, right?
Yeah, of course. So it's sometimes good to have feedback, but when you get the second collaboration, obviously then it's validated and they really like your content and they like working with you. Because most of the times I know the return on investment is not there. Because the amount of money that brands sometimes pay, I'm like, how do you even track sales of this? Because I work with a lot of brands that don't even have an online store. For example, I work with Primark, with H&M.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so they're big companies and they're not able to track what I'm selling. They're just happy with the pictures and getting people more familiar with the brand. Because I know I have a certain type of following that would love to shop at H&M or at Primark, for example, but people forget about these stores because always like new brands popping up. So for example, if I'm showing that I'm working with these brands on my profile, my following will think, oh yeah, they actually have a nice collection. Maybe I will go in store and buy it, So it's really impossible to track. But for these brands, it's more like, okay, we have a big marketing budget that works together. Let's work together with these creators. We know they're creating really good content and they will deliver really good content as the way we want. So that's why we work together with them.
Got it. Yeah, that's strange for me, because I've always been like, okay, what happens after the click? Are we making any money back? But I guess that's also kind of like good to hear for people who are getting started, because it's like, hey, listen, even if you just make a great content piece that they can repurpose and use in different places, then that's still like a win for the brand, I guess.
Of course.
Are you reading your contracts? Like, are you like double checking what they can do with your content, or how does that work?
Yes, I'm a freak with contracts, to be honest. Like, I love reading contracts since I was a kid. Like, since I was 5 years old, I could read almost perfectly. And I was always reading contracts of my father's businesses and other businesses that my brothers had as well. And I was always like reading the contracts from A to Z. So I love to read it. And now life is much easier because you can just put it in ChatGPT and ChatGPT helps you and reading the contracts even better. Yeah, but I always read my contracts, always.
Did anything like weird happen once with your contract where you're like, oh damn, like...
Why I read my contracts is because, for example, I had once a gifting collaboration and they wanted me to sign the contract because they gave me the products and obviously I had to share it on my story. Yeah. But I didn't read the contract back then. So what happened is they used these pictures as advertisements on their own channel. So what happens is that, for example, I was also a model back in the days and I was getting paid for being a model and these pictures getting used as an advertisement. Yeah. But in the content creation world, I wasn't really that cool. I was like, okay, wow, they're using my pictures and I'm not getting paid for it. Like, this can never happen again. So in the end, I sent to the brand like, hey, you need to pay me for this content because you're using it as an advertisement, blah, blah, blah. And they told me, look, just read in your contract. We are allowed to use your content because you signed the contract.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's also kind of like maybe the biggest fear of a content creator where like, especially if they use like a weird little snippet and then they use it forever. Is there like, this is just me being interested in like not knowing anything about it. So is there like, do you know like how much money they're going to spend on ads, or is that like influencing the price? Because I just imagine that if you have a good content piece and they just boost it, then it's like you will literally be the H&M guy or the Primark guy if they spend enough money on it, right? So,
of course. So you don't know upfront, but I do see contracts from people next to me that the amount of money brands would spend into the marketing, for example, on the advertisement. With me, didn't happen yet. Like that brands spend like 50K or 60K in terms of advertisement. But I've seen contracts where it literally states like, okay, we're going to invest 22K or 25K into this post that you create for us. Yeah. But it happens, yes.
Yeah, and that's also, I guess, the cool part, right? Because if you think about it, like, oh, they're going to spend 50K on ads. Like, even if you're a relatively unknown creator that has something unique, then, of course, if they spend 50K on ads, it's easy to pay you 1, 2, 3K, right?
Of course, of course. And it makes you feel better because, you know, you have the leverage of asking much more money. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's what I was always curious about. Like, it's funny because you have these people on Fiverr and they're, like, selling, like, you know, UGC content pieces. Yeah. And I used one of them. And then literally in the next week, I saw, like, 5 other people using them as well. So I was like, oh, man, like, she's really, like, she doesn't care. But I think that's a little bit dangerous as a creator. Yes, correct. I agree because even myself, I don't work with all the brands in the world. Like, I got crazy offers from brands that obviously are canceled in human eyes and in terms of like, is it fast fashion or other brands as well? And I don't really work with them because why? Because I know it's gonna not ruin my image, but it's gonna bring down my credibility as a content creator. So I don't work with all the brands that are in the world because it's what builds you, what breaks you as well as a content creator. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I guess we're not gonna name any names in general on this podcast, so we're not gonna do that. But you have a bunch of names that you've been working with. Do you also like actively reach out or like come up with ideas for them? Like, hey, I got this idea. What do you think about it? Or how does that relationship look like?
So yes, I do that as well. Most creators actually, they wait because most creators are signed with an agency, or they just wait until something comes into their inbox. But I'm like, look, I'm impatient. There are like millions of brands in this world, and there is a limited amount of money. Like if you look at the numbers of a creator industry, it's $21 billion. And if you just wait and wait and wait until you get like 1 or 2 or 3 collaborations a month, okay, it's still a good money, but you can have like much more money. You can have like 5 to 10 collaborations a month. So what I decided to do is like, okay, let me check all the agencies and all the PR companies and all the brands, for example, in this country. And I'm going to send them a message on Instagram like, hey, can I please get the email address of the marketing team? I would love to work together with you guys. Yeah. And then I just send them an email and then hopefully you get a collaboration out of it. And because I was doing that, once I got a collaboration over 5 figures with a brand, so multiple 5 figures with a company, that I just reached out myself. That didn't even know about me. They were like, "Oh yeah, next week we're doing this collaboration. We need a couple. It's perfect that you reach out to us." And they paid insane amount of money. It was $1 billion company, so they had the money to pay that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what, in the short time that we know each other, I think it's great about you that you are not just sitting and waiting, right? So for anybody who is watching and listening, you have over 400,000 followers on Instagram, where you're still DMing people or emailing people sometimes, right? I think that says a lot about you, that you keep going, and probably it's really easy to work with you as from a corporate perspective. And it's also what I always like when I'm working together with people doing partnerships, or if you're hiring somebody, it's like the people who actually are proactive and come back with like, hey, this is an idea, if you don't want to use it, it's fine, but it just came up. So I think that's pretty cool, just for everybody watching. He's 405,000. What are we at?
I think 400 and a bit on Instagram, and then 1.2 million on TikTok.
Yeah. And you're still sending emails, so I think that's pretty cool, and you're doing well. So, and someone else who's doing well that you just mentioned is also your partner. May is her name. So, I'm curious about, what do you see are like the differences when you are doing stuff in general and what she is doing?
Yes. So the big difference is that I still believe that females get paid much more in this business than males, which makes sense also in the modeling world. Same with content creation world.
Yeah. Okay.
Why? Is because 80% of online consumers are still females. Like men, if we buy something like every 3 months, for example, or we just buy tech stuff, or as a new phone or a new battery charger or whatever. Yeah. But I think females are still 70 to 80% the online consumers in terms of clothes. And I think that's why this content creation world is still bigger for females. And I think that's a big difference between her and me. So for example, social media, she has more collaborations, she posts much more, she's more invested into it. And we do well together as well, with the couples profile, with the personal profiles. But the big difference is that there's much more opportunity as a female than a male in terms of content creation. So yeah.
Got it. So I guess that's a win for the feminists, that if they post on social media, they can outperform the men. So I think that's cool. And in terms of posting, I mean, it's of course a totally different audience. Yeah. Do you see any big differences in terms of, is she doing things radically different than you would do them, or is it kind of the same?
It is different because she does it more with a message. So she's more focused on body positivity and inspiring people that it's normal to have a normal body. Like, it's not normal to be very skinny and have size, whatever the perfect sizes in humanity eyes, human eyes. And she just makes average girls, like from these days, feel normal. Like, okay, it's normal to have a bit more fat. It's normal to have a bit extra on your body. And she's like combining with her content, which means that people have actually something to stick on. If they go to her profile, they say, okay, hey, she's radiating positivity. She makes me feel better. So I'm going to follow her and support her content. And that's a big difference with her profile and my profile. Whereas I started as well with the same message and working out, and you need to be healthy and fit and positive and mindset. But then obviously I diverted into more lifestyle content, where she continues in more body positivity and having her profile with a message, and mine is more lifestyle and fashion, and now less fitness. So yeah,
so that's cool to see, right? In Dubai, there's a lot of lifestyle stuff. That's what you were doing. But there's also a lot of people that just want to live a happy life, right? And before, maybe it was really like, oh, there's this like Hollywood image of everything, right? But not everybody wants to do that anymore. So it's actually getting, I think, bigger and bigger. And I think that's pretty interesting to see. So there's, I think, something for everybody, right?
Yeah, correct.
I mean, you work with a lot of influencers. So I'm curious, like, if there's any other surprising niches or messages that you have seen work that you would initially not think would work and blow up.
There are a lot of ways that could work. Like you have just people that review cars, you have people that review hamburgers, you have people that review other crazy amount of stuff. I know creators that just make money with unpacking stuff, just unpacking multiple stuff. And there are like, these days, there are 1,000 IDs where you can create money with on social media. It's crazy. Is it faceless? Is it showing your face? Is it reviewing places, locations? Is it doing whatever? And there's so many ways to make money with social media. And it's unlimited right now. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's I don't have regrets in life, but one of the regrets that I could have is that back in the day when I was starting doing this online thing and this internet marketing thing, you didn't really know that you could make money talking about, let's say, burgers, or there's people now sharing their martial arts training. I was like in martial arts back in the day. I didn't know that if I would post that on social media, I could actually live from that, right? So I went like, not the traditional route, but I went like, I just learned skills that were valuable. But nowadays, it doesn't really matter like what kind of hobby, passion, expertise, skill, or whatever it is you want to share.
Yeah, it's crazy. I know someone, for example, who makes a lot of money on YouTube by just cooking, by just cooking, and her face not even in the videos, it's just crazy. She get like these things for free. She get paid by these major brands, the cooking brands, KitchenAid, the other brands as well, Ninja Blender, for example. There are multiple brands that want to work with her because why? She's big on YouTube. And it's maybe also something that I regret from back in the days is like, okay, I'm already like 4 years a content creator, or almost 5 years. Why didn't I really start taking YouTube serious? Because I could. And imagine YouTube having like this type amount of fan base on YouTube. It's crazy because it's like real gold, digital gold. And obviously I have followers on TikTok and Instagram, which I'm really grateful for. But I could tap into so much more platforms and industry as well. Like, could be much bigger today, actually, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Before we go into that, like how much bigger it can be, I just think it's funny to share a little Instagram reel that I saw. There is nowadays even a woman on Instagram, and she tests your boyfriend. So she is posting Instagram reels about like, hey, I'm going to DM your boyfriend with a different profile and test if he's loyal. Right? So just how interesting a kind of niche you can get. And she's like getting decent views, and she will DM your boyfriend. I'm not going to tag her here because I'm not following her, of course. But anyway, so just like this whole online thing, amazing opportunities. And let's get into there a little bit, because a lot of people are just thinking about like, hey, I will, whatever, H&M, or like, but it's so hard to get in touch with H&M. But there's other companies like what you just said, like the blender, all the kitchen appliances that are super big, right? So it's like, I mean, these companies are maybe even bigger than before. And nowadays, even like gym equipment is going on social media and all that stuff. So I'm curious, like, where do you see this going, this whole influencer thing?
I think people say influencer marketing is dead, but I don't believe that. It's something that's gonna be the future. Because if you look at it, 4 years ago, the market was maybe 7 billion, 5 billion. But if you look at now in 2024, the market is 21 billion, and probably by next year will be like 30 billion. Will be go to 40 billion. And the big difference is, whereas back in the days you had advertisement on TV, you had big billboards on the streets as well, which still exist, but nobody looks at it anymore. People are only looking at their phone. We don't even know what type of billboard is on the street right now behind me. I don't even know because I didn't check it. I was on my phone.
On your phone?
I was checking on my phone. So the influencer market is only going to go up and up and up and up, and more money is going to get involved in it. Why? Because brands have much more money to spend on marketing, because they know marketing online is because where people spend the most time, there's where the money goes, and that's where the marketing goes. And it's influencer industry. So
Yeah, it's even with ads. I see that the people that are like, so, if you run ads and you make immediately money from it, people also look you up, right? So I see nowadays that the people that are running ads that are doing really well, most of them, not all of them, they will have a personal brand. So my prediction is that within a couple of years, if you're running ads and you don't have anything online, it's going to get pretty hard. Unless you have some crazy ass scam offer where you promise people to lose weight without doing anything, then that's probably still going to work. But the personal branding thing is like, it's really helping a lot. And especially also YouTube, I guess people really build a connection there. So that's pretty cool. You are also creating content as a couple, as a duo. How does that work? Like, who comes up with the ideas?
I'm going to be honest with you. Most of the content ideas come from my partner, because she's very inventive, very creative. She always has been like, she's like an insane, beautiful painter. She can paint the craziest thing. It's
really?
like how creative she is just crazy.
Yeah.
And so she comes up with most of the ideas. And is it on TikTok? Is it on Instagram? Obviously, I have a certain type of vision with creating pictures with a camera, with iPhone. Like I'm coming up with most of these ideas. But in terms of finding caption and content ideas, she's the one coming with it. So yeah.
Got it. So let's give us some of the secret juice. Like, what is she doing, or what do you see her do?
She always thinks about, okay, what kind of idea can I use in order to go viral, in order to make it appealing, in order to make it just that, okay, people will love it, you know?
Yeah.
She thinks about these aspects. And for her, it's more like, tack, comes inside her head and we just film it, do it. And most of the times actually always goes well, the content that she creates or the idea she has. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, just doing it is pretty important.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know how much screen time she have? Because I also assume that she's like checking IDs online and doing all that stuff.
So it's a lot. I think on average is 8 to 11 hours a day.
You see, it's not coming easy. You know, it's like obsession. That's pretty. But 8, that's a lot, man. Yeah. Do you guys still watch series and movies, or it's just like you're on your phone all the time?
So we do that a lot. So we watch at least one movie a day. We watch series as well.
One movie a day?
One movie a day. It's a lot.
How do you still find those new movies that you like, or you just don't like them?
We rewatch movies. For example, we are rewatching the Marvel Universe right now, the timeline. Cool. So we already seen it like twice, but now we're rewatching it again.
Takes another week, so you're good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Do you ever find inspiration in movies for like content pieces?
Not in terms of content pieces. She does actually, because for example, if you're watching like certain type of series, is it Friends or something else, or Big Bang Theory, there are certain type of sounds that go viral on TikTok. She thinks, okay, this went viral on TikTok. I remember that. I'm just watching this movie right now, so maybe we can recreate something with that sound, put it on TikTok, and then indeed we go viral again because she got inspiration from a movie. So yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about that. I think you talk about it a lot. Like one way is to model other content creators' ideas and make it your own, and then change it by putting a different sound on it, right? Like, so let's talk a little bit about that. Like, there's a lot of people that want to be unique and go viral. What are the things that you see are working right now, or like you also help a lot of people with that? You have a lot of collaborations and things. Like, what do you see is working right now, or which process is working?
There are multiple processes working. So either way, you have the pillars, the people who find their own content and ideas. For example, like my partner, most of the ideas she creates by herself. And there are actually a lot of creators copying, either ways, our ideas from couple's page or from her personal page. Like I've seen now a lot of creators actually doing the same what she's doing because they know it's working for her. Yeah. And I see, a lot of people actually copying what she's doing. So either way, you can do that. Create your own ideas. Or you copy what's working. You look at other content creators. You look, okay, what is really working? What type of reels are going viral? What type of sounds are going viral? I'm gonna do the same. Maybe 100% completely the same. Maybe I twist a little bit with a different caption and I post it. So, I think that's what content creation now is actually is about, like just copying others. Copy what's working.
And come up with creative ideas if you really want to grow, because I mean, I guess in her like niche she has one of the biggest profiles, right? Or
I do believe she has one of the biggest engagement and reach in terms of her niche, in terms of body positivity. You have creators obviously who maybe started it first, I don't know, but in terms of consistency, engagement and reach, she's definitely one of the biggest, yes. Yeah,
but that was not by copying others. That was by coming up with her own stuff. At some point, we have to ask her how she did that.
Yeah, it's crazy. We might invite her next time in the podcast.
Yeah. Or maybe she doesn't know and she is just really good at it after so much years of thinking and practicing and painting. It's
she's really good because she invests time in it. People always think, it's very easy to become a content creator. No. I mean, yes, it is in a certain type of way, but also not, because you need to spend a lot of time. It's a 24/7 business. Okay, sometimes you sleep 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. You need to wake up when the sunrise is there. You need to be there when the sunset is there as well. You need to edit. You have meetings. You have events, obviously, where you need to go to. Then after these events, you still need to edit your content that you create the same day. So it's like non-stop that you're busy with your job as well. But in all honesty, you can also enjoy the moments.
Yeah.
You have days off, and obviously there are beautiful days as well.
I mean, shout out to our cab drivers here in Dubai who are working 24/7. That is physically a lot harder. But actually, so that's why I wanted to go, because you also you went to Singapore, right? So I guess you had like a jet lag and you still have to do all the stuff.
Yeah.
Is it always fun? Let me ask you like that.
No, it isn't always fun. So even last week I was in New York. Because we had a fashion week in New York. Then I actually came back home 1 day, 1.5 days. I had to pack my stuff. We had to go to Singapore. She went to Maldives.
That's like opposite time zones almost, right?
Opposite time zones. So you're like completely slumped and you're completely like exhausted. But life continues. You still need to continue. So that's what I meant. Like, it's not always what it seems like, because you have a lot of hardships. And obviously, I think mentally it's more exhausting than obviously physically. 100%. But you need to deal with it. Then you come in Singapore, you need to continue creating content for the company. So I worked with a huge company, like they're owned by the biggest company in the world. And it continues, you need to create content. And it's not always easy. That's it.
Can you talk a little bit about what you were doing in Singapore, or are you not allowed to say?
I'm allowed to say. So
let's talk a little bit about what you did in Singapore.
So I was invited by Sephora. They're owned by LVMH, by Bernard Arnault, the richest man in the world right now.
Yeah.
And I was invited by them to join them in Formula One. So they're sponsoring McLaren team. And I was invited by them. It was one of the craziest experiences. So I was flown out in first class by them on Emirates, which is insane,
Pretty
obviously.
Good. You had a shower? Shower or no shower?
It was the small plane, so no shower. I mean, small plane.
God damn it.
Was the 787, so they don't have the shower.
Yeah.
Next time.
But still good. Let's keep going. Yeah.
First class, still good. I was flown out by them to Singapore. Obviously, it's one of the craziest experiences in terms of Formula One, because there are only 2 races that really are crazy. It's Monaco and Singapore, because they're both street races in the city. And obviously, with Singapore, they do like the Token 49 event with crypto events. So it's just insane how the city lit up. And it was a beautiful experience. So obviously, I made contact with the brand, build up a good relationship, and now we started a partnership for the future as well.
Yeah. So were you driving Formula One, or did you touch the car, or could you do anything like that?
So obviously with passes and Sephora being involved, we could meet up drivers, we could see drivers. I didn't really do that, but I went to do the paddock. I've seen the cars from close by. Like I could literally touch them. We're not allowed to touch them. But I could touch them. So I really had...
Trick question. Did you touch them? Nope.
Nope. But I had close-up selfies with the car, videos. I've seen a lot of crazy stuff there as well. So
would you want to like drive one for fun once, or like as a sponsorship?
So I've driven one last year.
Cool.
Yes. So
how did that happen?
It was my birthday last year, and it was my dream as a kid always to drive a Formula One car, and May got it for me as a birthday present.
Formula One fans are gonna love this.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was actually my next question. Like, do you have any dreams that you wanna still accomplish in terms of like experiences that could be enabled by what you're doing with your social media? Is there still like, what's on your bucket list?
So my bucket list, I've done quite a while, like skydiving, but I want to do solo skydiving, still on my bucket list.
Wait, what? Solar?
Solo skydiving.
Solo, okay. Yeah.
So I've done skydiving 2 years ago as well for my birthday. Jumping out of a plane. It's an amazing experience, crazy. But I want to do it solo as well. But for the rest of my bucket list, I think I want to give something back to the people, like build my own big business first in terms of like a big gym brand with a big warehouse, with big gyms as well. And with that revenue that I create from there, I want to start projects for people who are less favoritized in the world, actually.
You mean financially, or like...
I would say
minorities, or
minorities. So like building schools, for example, in Africa for people, in Asia as well, just to help them, give them the same opportunity as I had as a kid. Like having books, having electricity, is it just clean water? Like make sure they get the same opportunity as I had as a kid. That's something that I want to do. That's my main thing on my bucket list, actually.
That's not as spectacular, but still really noble.
Yeah.
So that's cool to hear. That's cool to hear. I mean, I guess like you are doing all this special, unique, premium, exclusive stuff. Like, do you feel like your dopamine is like fried and you're just not enjoying it as much anymore, or do you need like to reset sometimes and then you feel it again, or is it still as exciting as the first few times?
No, it's not as exciting anymore. Obviously, my dopamine levels are less than other people because I've seen a lot, I've done a lot. I've traveled to the world, like insane amount of countries.
How many?
I don't know.
More than 100?
No,
more than 50.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it should be more than 50.
I don't know.
35 plus. Let's put it at 35
Yeah, I would say
plus.
30 plus for sure. 30 plus for sure, definitely. But obviously, you've done everything. Like you flew first class, business class. I've driven a Formula One car. I've done skydiving. I've met very famous people as well. I've been backstage with concerts. I've seen everything. So obviously, your dopamine levels are fried in a certain type of way that it's not as exciting anymore. You know, the things that you see today. But yeah, I have ADHD, so I still love my dopamine kicks. So,
okay.
So that's why I think I love Formula One driving, skydiving, maybe bungee jumping, you know, like these things that would really excite me as well. And because I've seen so many luxurious stuff and I've been to the craziest hotels, craziest restaurants, that's why I think this is on my bucket list, to give back to the people, because this would really give me fulfillment in terms of, okay, this really makes me happy from the inside. You know, and not just a temporary happiness feeling. Yeah.
So first step is gym. Build your other businesses, or?
So you have a couple businesses on the side. I have an agency myself as well. So I really keep it low key. People don't really know about it.
Yeah. I'm not going to ask any questions there.
But now you can ask questions. Like, I just don't.
No, I mean the agency model is also kind of boring. So let's talk about the sexy stuff.
It's kind of boring. So I have my agency. I'm also coaching as well people right now to build their own personal brands. So I have a couple businesses on the side. Obviously, I have investments in other businesses, crypto and stocks. But I think the next step is building a big imperium, like helping people, coaching people to become better, like building my own gym brand, maybe with a more mental aspect. That's something that I have on my 5-year plan as well. So yeah.
Got it. You want to build a gym in Dubai, or?
Maybe I could buy the pillar, like the first gym in Dubai, and then franchise it to other countries as well. Yeah.
Got it. So why I asked that question is because there's a lot of people talking about like, oh, Dubai is the best, but then there's people like, oh, the US is the best. So I'm curious from your experience, if you think about who are the best social media guys, the best influencers. Do you feel that they are better in Dubai, or do you feel they're better in the US, New York, LA, Miami?
I do still believe that the best content creators are in the USA. Why? Because they are still the ones that get the most fame, the best engagement, and are looked at the most. You know, and obviously you have some creators in Dubai that really amazing and create an insane amount of revenue. You have like Mo Vlogs and other people in Dubai as well. Maybe Huda Beauty, she's one of the biggest actually because she created her own makeup brand and she's in every store in the world. And I don't even know her value right now, but it's probably insane. Yeah. And you do have big creators in Dubai, but I do believe that USA creators get more shine. Why? Because USA is still the beloved country of the world. So yeah.
The country of opportunity.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my next question. Do you want to move to the USA, or do you have goals to break through or do more in the USA? Because that's kind of still like the pinnacle. As the editor picked the right pinnacle of social media and fame. Still the US.
I do love Dubai. So for all honesty, I see myself living here for a long time.
As the base.
As the base as well. And obviously travel around, get a base in south of Spain, for example. Maybe get a base in Asia, for example, as well. Yeah. But I think this is the best base that you could go for. Mm-hmm. Multiple reasons. Like, there are an insane amount of reasons, but I've traveled to the USA and I don't really feel home there as well. Safe, home. Whereas here I have a home feeling. And that's also one of the main reasons. But I do believe that if I spend 3 to 6 months in the USA, I would get an insane amount of boost on my social media. Because whenever I'm in LA, my likes are much better, my engagement is much better, my reach is much better as well. And content goes better there as well. So yeah.
That's interesting. But I mean, like, if you would be able to afford a penthouse on like one of the highest towers in New York, seeing the park, would you not want to like at least have a little penthouse there if you make it that far?
No.
No, you don't want to have any place, like no place in the US.
Even if I have all the money in the world, doesn't make me happy, because I've been there and I enjoyed it for 1-2 weeks, but the weather is not always shining because I'm a man of the sun. Sun makes me happy. Yeah. And I've lived in London for 3 years, for example, and it wasn't making me happy because it's always gray, the weather is bad, it's getting dangerous. You cannot go outside after 10 o'clock. You cannot even enjoy, like, for example, you work hard for your money, right? And here you are able to spend your money and use it as well. I can run outside knowing that I can wear my watch, I can wear whatever I want to wear, and I'm safe, Whereas in USA, you're not safe. In London, you're not safe. And safety, home feeling, and weather are one of the main reasons why I'm actually living in Dubai, because it makes me happy. If I have these 3 things, I'm happy. So,
Got it. So another vote for Dubai.
Yeah.
No US. We'll see if we can change that if we get you a nice penthouse apartment in New York, but...
Maybe in the future.
See.
I mean, I wouldn't say no. Look, if you offer me today, I could have it. I wouldn't say no. I would fly out to New York, enjoy my penthouse for 2 weeks, go back to Dubai. Yeah.
Got it. I mean, then we should get it in LA for you so that you can go a little bit more viral.
Yeah.
Use it. We see, you see a lot of people starting in Dubai and still experiencing something in the US.
Yeah.
Not all of them. There's a lot of people who are really, especially people I think who are from here.
Yeah.
That they are really advocates for Dubai. But I mean, it's an amazing place. So first gym is gonna be here. I guess they're gonna be happy with that. So that's cool. So in Dubai, you can do a lot of stuff. What are like kind of like your favorite places to record things? Or if someone's visiting, which like 2-3 places that are it's harder to film here, right? Or?
It is hard because you do have some rules in place that. Sorry, it is hard to record it because you do have some rules in place that you cannot really film with a big camera.
Yeah.
But with iPhone, actually, you're almost always allowed to create content. But it is hard, multiple reasons. The sun is too hot, like it's 40 degrees. So sometimes it is like, okay, after 5 minutes, you're sweating. It's crazy.
You're done.
You're done. You cooked. So you need to go back in the car, cool down, start again.
Oh my God, it's like sauna photo shoot car.
Sauna photo shoot car, you go back again.
Oh
so that's one of the main reasons why it's hard, but you do have actually a lot of restrictions in place where you cannot film. You're not allowed to film other people. You're not allowed to do this and that. So there are a lot of rules actually where you cannot really create professionally content. Yeah. Even with a small camera, with a flash, they're going to come to you like, hey, you're not allowed to do this. You need to ask for permission.
Yeah. And they are also really against drones. Yeah. When I flew here, I had like, I think my tablet and my laptop and my MacBook in the bag. And they picked it out with the scanner, like, is that a drone?
Yeah.
No, I don't have a drone, but they had to check it to make sure. So that is, of course, a challenge. But you have a nice place now where you can film some stuff.
Correct.
Did you create, like, you guys are bought, right?
We bought it, yes.
So did you buy it for content purposes or just also as a home thing or like a hybrid?
We bought it for content. Like wherever we live, even if it was renting before in London or first renting place in Dubai, it's always content purposes. Enough light, make sure that we have enough rooms to create content. Like whatever we rented or bought is with content purpose. So it's not like more, okay, it needs to be perfect home feeling, blah, blah, blah. No, whatever. It
needs to be beautiful and perfect.
Beautiful, perfect. The furniture that we buy, whatever we do is always for content purposes. Yeah.
Got it. Are you going to buy some new furniture or are you guys already totally spec'd up?
We spec'd up. Like the furniture we had everything made, custom made here in Dubai as well. Was quite on a higher level. And we love our furniture. It's comfortable.
That's why you're DMing all these people again, you know? Need some more furniture.
Need more furniture.
Yeah.
Cool. We could have had the chance actually to receive furniture for free as well from companies in Dubai, because we reached out to some companies. We were like, we don't really like it. It's not really the style that we want.
Yeah.
So we decided to just have custom made furniture. Yeah. But wait, I need to come back to your question. Your question was... I don't remember your question.
Just why you got the house and the car, that it was for content. So that was answered. Let's say that someone has a little bit less money, right? And they still want to find a good place to record or like maybe rent a place. What are you looking for when you're looking for let's say a good house to turn it into a content house? Like what kind of things are you looking at?
The main thing I'm looking at is actually daylight. That's the most important thing. Why? Because if you have an apartment or a house or whatever you're going for and there's not enough daylight, you're going to be depressed. It's not going to motivate you to create content, because daylight is actually the start of everything. You feel happy, you feel much more motivated to create content. So what we're looking for is a big window, preferably corner unit apartments. Why? Because corner units have light from both sides. But that's what we're looking at, daylight. That's the most important aspect from a content creator.
Got it.
Yeah, creating content in a dark room is never going to cut it, never.
Let's circle back to that a little bit later. And in terms of furniture or props, like is there anything that you really like to put in your videos or like things you have seen that work well?
If you start out, doesn't need to be that big. You could just start in front of a white wall. White walls is also something that I look for. But obviously then if you got a little bit more money, you just buy nice furniture. You can get nice plants, maybe fake plants as well. But it doesn't need to be expensive. You can go on these websites like AliExpress or Temu or Shein, whatever you want to go for. And it costs you $2 to just buy something very pretty as well. So it doesn't need to be expensive. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, that was also the answer I was looking for. How can people with less money still fake it until they make it?
Yeah.
All right, you just talked a little bit about light because it motivates you. Sometimes, my clients have to record ads. People I work with have to record ads and they don't want to do it. Or like sometimes I need to record something and I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
What I do is I take a shower. But I'm curious about your tips and tricks to get in the mood and record content if you don't want to, specifically then.
So what I was doing actually in London, definitely in London, always taking a cold shower. So whenever I don't want to do something, it's like, because in London, believe me, the showers are ice cold. That's one thing in Dubai that I don't like. The shower never gets cold. Never. I always try to take a cold shower, but it doesn't work. But yeah, what I do...
It takes like half an hour until the shower's cold.
No, it never gets cold because the water is warm. Look, if it's 40 degrees outside, how can the water down below can get cold? Never. Unless you get a cooler. So I'm buying an ice bath so I can go into the ice bath. But yeah, imagine I'm not motivated to create content. I will also take a shower and just visualize my success. So what I do is I visualize my success, what I want to achieve within 5 years. I visualize it as I've already achieved it.
Yeah.
And this really fires me up to start and create content. So yeah.
Got it. Cold shower.
Visualize. Yeah.
Light. That's the key to success. All right. Now we've talked a lot about what you have been doing and how you have been doing it. And we talked also about where you want to go in terms of specifically you want to build schools, all that kind of stuff. What do you want to do with your social media? Like what direction you want to go? You want to keep doing the same thing, or is there new things you want to try out or you're excited about?
Yes, so I definitely want to bring work more on my personal branding on social media. So obviously I have a strong personal brand at the moment.
Yeah.
But I want to give a message to it, inspire more people to become a better version of themselves.
Yeah.
There is possibility to become successful with social media, with whatever qualities or talents that you have. And I want to inspire more people actually to just become a better version of themselves. And at the moment, if you look at my profile, obviously it's more lifestyle, fashion, some brand deals, couple stuff. Obviously, I'm doing the coaching as well. But on my profile, actually, I want to help more people and just deliver a message that you can do better. Yeah.
Got it. I mean, I think that's a nice way to segue into a little bit of your origin story, right? Yeah. People always are trying to figure out what made this person successful. Mm-hmm. Sometimes to realize that sounds like hard work and I don't want to do it, which is, I think, the case with you. So let's go back a little bit to how it all started. Your mother, if I remember correctly, moved with you, right?
No, she moved by herself.
Moved by herself?
Yeah, moved by herself. And then she made me afterwards.
Oh, that's so you were, how long did you stay alone? Or back home, I mean.
So she moved, actually, she was born in Congo, Africa. She moved from Congo to Africa when she was 12 or 13 or even 14, I don't remember anymore. Yeah. To Belgium, obviously very hard because you're an immigrant and whatnot. You don't have an income. It's difficult to find a job. Definitely back in the days in 1980, whatever. Yeah. To find a job as a person of color. So she was struggling a lot, but then she was lucky to meet my father. And then obviously I have brothers as well. They made my brothers, and then I was born. And yeah, as a kid, it wasn't the easiest upbringing, if I'm gonna be honest with you. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the downside of these prosperous countries, that they are sometimes not as easy with a different culture as well. I guess different everything. Mm-hmm. So. Talk me through that a little bit. You went to school there, normal school, I guess, primary, high school? Yeah,
so I went to, back in my home country, I went to primary school, secondary school, whatever. Yeah. But since a young age, since I was 5, my parents got divorced. My father had how do you call it? CVS, cerebral vascular disease. So obviously something popped in his brain, got paralyzed, had to be 19 months in the hospital as well, obviously. Yeah. Then my mom had to take care of us. But obviously she's an alone mother, so money-wise, it wasn't really easy. So we had things that we didn't even have hot water. We had to wash ourselves from a bucket, whatever and whatnot. Like, it was crazy. It was hardships. And then obviously my father came back from the hospital after 19 months and he started working again. So everything went a little bit better, but then obviously not, because he had so many bills to pay. Then more stuff happened. And then since I was 12, legal age, I could finally go actually to boarding school. And that was the moment actually that everything started. So the hardships before, then boarding school. Since I was 12, you're just on your own because you go to boarding school.
So you were sleeping in there and all that stuff?
Sleeping in there as well.
So just for all the Dutch and Belgian people who have not been to boarding school, like how does that work? It's in Belgium. You just go there and you can go back in the weekend, or what's
so you can go back in the weekend. But the thing was that I wasn't really close to my parents because obviously I had my mom. She wasn't really always at home when I was a kid. Yeah. My father then was always working as well. So even I was a lot of times just in aftercare, sleeping actually aftercare. Was not really legal in Belgium. But as a kid, me and my brothers were actually sleeping in aftercare, or sometimes we had a babysitter coming to our place because my father was in Poland or wherever around the world as well, and my mom was just never home. But so I was used to it by being alone. When I was 5, I was doing my own laundry. When I was 8, I was doing my own ironing as well. So I was doing a lot of stuff by myself, so I was used to it. But then, you go to boarding school. It's just a lonely life because you meet new people. Actually, the friends are the people in your boarding school. In the weekend, you can go home, but I wasn't always going home because
makes sense.
I didn't really want to be home because I wasn't really feeling loved at home as well. So,
I mean, you were ironing your own stuff at like 8. Yeah. I mean, first of all, most people are still not making their own sandwiches, boterhammen, as we say in Dutch and Belgium. Sure. They're not even making their own sandwiches at 8 years old, let alone doing their own laundry. And you were already ironing. So I guess like for you, these guys who don't leave their house when they're 18, like that's unimaginable. Yes. But I guess that's where you already started, like taking care of yourself, looking good, making sure you look represent. Yeah. You started really early actually then with the quote unquote social media training.
True. Yeah, I started early. My father gave me a phone when I was 5 years old because I had to go to school on my bike by myself as well. So I just had to send him a message like, hey, I arrived well on school when I was 5 years old. Whereas people never seen a phone. So I had the Nokia 3310. The old one, the old school.
The one that didn't break.
That didn't break. You could play like a Snake Extension. It was really amazing. So I started playing soccer as well when I was 4.5. So I think these things shaped me into who I am today as well. Yeah. So starting soccer from a young age, being responsible for myself and my brothers as well from a young age. This is what built me and this is what shaped me to the person I am today as well. So,
and then I guess you use that discipline and everything in soccer.
Yeah.
And then you started rising in the ranks there as well.
Yeah, correct.
That's cool to kind of tie up your story a little bit because that's also the start of your social media career at some point.
Of course.
So for the listeners and viewers, what happened with your soccer stuff?
So I started playing soccer when I was 4 or 5 years old. And obviously along the lines, I've tasted from the professional world as well. I played in the first division in Belgium. But then I got injured, got a wrong agent as well, who was not really focused on my career. Yeah. And there was a lot of stuff actually that was happening behind the scenes, and football is a crazy world. So a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes that people don't know about in terms of money and transfer fee and whatever is happening. Yeah. It's a crazy world. And what happened is that I went down to 3rd division, still making money, you still make money with
surviving,
soccer.
I guess.
You're still surviving. You make good amount of money.
Okay.
But not wow. You make a little bit more than someone working 9 to 5 in Netherlands or Belgium. Yeah. But you're not motivated anymore because you played 3rd division. You know that you could have played in a big, huge team and making 7 figures a year. You know that because you have the potential. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, that's it. And then COVID happened. Normally, I was actually about to go to Saudi Arabia or to Kuwait. I had multiple offers because I was playing national team of Belgium as well, under 19. So I had a few caps as well. I had a nice palmarès, as we say. Like I had a good soccer career. And then COVID happened. And I was like, okay, wow, what's happening right now? I cannot play soccer anymore. So then in the moment, somebody reached out to me on Instagram like, hey, Nathan, I really love your body. Can you provide me with a workout? I was like, okay, let's do it. And I filmed the workout for that person, posted on my Instagram as well, because I was like, let me just try it out, posted on my Instagram. And I got a lot of good response on that. And actually, this was like the first way that I shot myself into social media. And I had like a good amount of likes and engagement, and people even asked for more workouts. I started posting more and more and more. Then obviously I started getting more followers. I was like, wow, that's actually amazing. And during COVID, what happened was that people noticed me, and I could travel during COVID because everybody had to stay home. But then I got like a special paper, a government paper, that I could travel and create content for social media and go shoot for other brands as well. It's crazy, right? And I was like, wow, that's amazing. Then obviously COVID finished, I think, 1 year maybe. We couldn't play for 5-6 months. But after 1 year, I could sign a new contract with new teams. I was like, nah, fuck it. I'm going to enjoy my freedom. And I'm going to risk it all and just focus fully on content creation. And it's the best decision I ever made as well. So,
many years to come.
Yeah.
When do you want to retire? In terms of finances?
Finances, when I'm 35.
35. Yeah. And then just focus on helping other people.
Focus on helping other people and just looking at my investments that I've made. So yeah, just managing the investments and enjoying life. Yeah.
You think it's doable? Easy, hard modus?
I'm 26 at the moment, so 9 years is definitely doable. And I owe it to myself. If I want to achieve it by 35, I think I can do it, because what I'm building right now in the last 2 years is just crazy. The people that you meet, the network that you build up as well, the opportunities that you got, I'm like, it is actually quite possible to do it, It is possible.
And after that, do you think you will still post on social media?
I would still post on social media, like from time to time. Like maybe once a week, just once a week, whenever I feel comfortable with it. Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's the podcast episode today. A lot of golden nuggets and also a beautiful personal story that a lot of people didn't hear yet. And to me, it's pretty crazy to start ironing your own stuff at 8. So thanks for being on the podcast, then. Until the next one.
Next one. Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.